Hello everyone, I'm Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do a quick video just talking about some of the content that you can expect from the channel in the new year. And basically what I'm focusing on right now, this channel has it's gone through a couple of iterations since I began it so many years ago, but I've always stayed true, and I'm going to continue to stay true to the channel's mission, which is to call out the good storytelling, the good important mythos we have as a culture, to criticize and use some critical thinking when it comes to iterations that fall short of that, but all for the sake of really examining the importance of and arguing for the utilization of good stories that build us up individually, psychologically, as well as our society, culturally, and help us as a society. So I've done videos upon videos on that, talking about the archetypes and why they're important and why these archetypes are resonant and timeless. And we see them pop up again in story after story. And in the stories that don't really represent them well, those stories don't stick around. They die off. They can sometimes be kept alive on life support sometimes by companies that refuse to let go, but in time, we've seen again and again, they just end up falling by the wayside. But there's a reason. There's a reason that there's a reason that the character of Superman, my go-to guy, has always been with us and will remain even through the horrible iterations we've received of him. There's a reason that the Star Wars stick around ever since the early '80s, when we left off that and didn't receive really any more content from that after that original trilogy for a long time anyway. So what am I going to do with the year ahead? If you've been following my channel, you've seen that I've started some things that are a little different for me. The gameplay, or the story playthroughs of Knights of the Old Republic, for example. You can catch the first 3 of those, I believe, just before this video. I'm going to set them up at their own little playlist. And the reason I'm doing that is to try to draw attention to the stories that we still have that are timeless, that are respectful of the archetypes, that are respectful of the franchises and the spirit of the franchises. Not because these franchises themselves are holy and sacred or anything like that, but because they tap into a basic human need that we need as human beings. As I say in the trailer for my channel, I'll link to that as well in this video because it's so important. I think some people miss it. But stories are the building blocks of our individual selves and of our societies. We think in terms of narration. We are the heroes of our own story. Even our daily, adventures are a narrative in our minds. That's how we make sense of our own life. That's how we make sense of the experiences we've gone through stories. And because of that, the types of stories that we partake, fiction, stories that we know are just fiction, they will shape the way we think about our own lives. They will shape the way we conceive of our values, taboos, morals, all those kinds of things, by the stories we partake of. And that's why you do have a responsibility. What kind of person do you want to be? Well, it's the same principle with, you're going to end up being like the people you hang around with. You're going to end up resembling the type of stories you spend time with as well. So we have a responsibility to ourselves individually, but also to our society, because the society is going to start to resemble the types of stories it tells. These are just basic psychological and sociological proofs and truths out there. So what I'm going to continue doing with this channel is basically what I've been doing. We'll do some criticizing, exercising critical thinking when it comes to the iterations that fall short, as I've done recently with Wonder Woman 84 and so forth. But also trying to go back and call attention to the wonderful stories that we still have. Because if you check out my recent videos, there's this really unfortunate tendency in our culture just to need something new. It has to be new. It has to be current. And as I mentioned in my previous video, it's because people are more interested in feeling like they're part of an online fandom community than they are actually receiving quality content. And that's a shame. But I want to turn attention back to the wonderful stories that we already have of these characters. J.J. Abrams, for some reason, has the reins on Superman now, so you can settle in for quite a bit of critical thinking exercise his way, because he is not a storyteller who understands the character or should be entrusted with that folklore in any way. So we'll see what happens there. I'll continue to call out the issues with the Batman. Matt Reeves' Batman as more falls forth, but in addition to calling forth the issues and calling out the issues that are with the modern storytelling, I'm going to continue my focus that I've been doing lately on drawing attention to the great stories that we already have. So I've done a lot of the Star Wars content already, with the Knights of the Old Republic playthrough. I'm going to continue that because that is such a wonderful story. It's such a wonderful foundational story for the Knights of the Old, or for the Old Republic era, for the Star Wars EU. And a lot of people who aren't gamers or don't, just aren't, for whatever reason, don't have access to the game, you can still receive the story while watching a playthrough, because that's the only way to get the story. It's not in novelization form, and you really do need that story if you're going to continue on with the novels and comics and whatnot of that era that really based on that story and the tale of Revan and Malak and all the Old Republic Mandalorian wars and whatnot. This Thursday as well, we're going to start our book study of Kenobi, the John Jackson Miller's Kenobi. This is the true EU story of of Obi-Wan Kenobi settling into Tatooine as he's giving infant Luke to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and he's trying to figure out a place for himself on Tatooine. So this is the real story, because I guarantee you the series that Disney Plus is putting out there is not going to be anything like this. It's going to be, it's going to be riddled with a lot of the nonsense that Disney likes to put in, especially with Ewan McGregor involved. He's already shown his true colors in terms of the types of values that he likes to partake in and be a part of these days, post Birds of Prey and whatnot. So that's going to start this Thursday at 10:15 p.m. We're going to cover chapters 1 through 5, so make sure chapters 1 through 5 be ready. Kenobi book study, and the playlist will be up, so if you miss it or miss if you want to follow along and you've missed a video or didn't read up the reading, you can check the replay. But I'm also going to do, I don't know if they'll do these as book studies, because graphic novels are a little shorter or whatever, but I will do feature videos occasionally. One that I'm planning right now thus far is on this wonderful, wonderful work written by the late great Darwin Cook, and it's actually drawn by Tim Sale. So Darwin Cook didn't do the art on this, but Tim Sale, the great Tim Sale, did the art. And it's a wonderful piece. It was originally published under Superman Confidential in single issue form, but it's been compiled in a hardback or trade paperback as well, called Kryptonite, Superman Kryptonite. And it's the story. According to Darwin Cook, it's the story of Superman first encountering kryptonite and realizing that he's susceptible to it, and first learning about his homeworld Krypton as well. So it's a wonderful story. It really gets to the true value of who Superman is as Clark Kent, and who he identifies with. Does he identify is Jor-El or Clark Kent? It's a wonderful, wonderful story. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. I have done some of these in the past. I will link in the top corner there to a review I did of Superman for All Seasons, which is another wonderful, wonderful Superman story. Because I get asked a lot, okay, people hear what I have to say about the true blue Superman or the true blue Luke Skywalker or whatever, and they want to know, well, where do we start? Where do we get in? What are some books? Because there's so many out there, you never know if what you're partaking of is going to be some nonsense New 52 garbage, or if it's going to be the real deal Superman, or likewise with Luke Skywalker and whatnot. So I'll do these recommendation videos to help people, steer them towards some great works, and not just with Superman and Luke Skywalker. Of course, I'll get into some Batman. I'll continue with some Wonder Woman. People are just so mixed up about who Wonder Woman is these days. I will do a video feature, I think, on the 2009 animated Wonder Woman film, because that was just wonderful, wonderful. If you want a Wonder Woman movie, there it is. That's the real Wonder Woman, and of course the many wonderful books ever since Marston created her that we have. They do treat her in an iconic manner. So we'll get back to those. I might even go back to talking about, some anime like My Hero Academia. I'm not a big anime fan across the board by any means, and that's not an invitation for you to recommend a bunch of stuff for me. but there is, with My Hero Academia, there's another wonderful, wonderful aspirational hero story being told there. Because that's what I think we're missing in our cultures. We're missing the aspirational hero. We're missing an understanding of it, and that's one thing that I've always been doing with my channel. I'll link again to another video in which I did a long time ago that a lot of people came up on my channel because of this video, which is called Stop Deconstructing Heroes. And I talk about the importance of the aspirational hero and our need for him or her. So that's where I'm going to continue going with this channel, looking at and there are other, of course we need good cathartic motivational hero types as well. I will continue the archetype videos. There's I need to do the Mentor, I can do the Paragon and stuff like that. So eventually I'll get around to doing some of those as well. But that's basically what to expect from the channel. Maybe the occasional rewatch, when it has to do with one of these things, or if it's just a fun issue like that. But I'm not really doing the weekly news source, commentary shows anymore, or weekly rewatches necessarily. Book studies, game playthroughs to get the stories, and really trying to both call out the problems with the modern iterations of these franchises, as well as draw attention to the wonderful, wonderful works that we still have in your bookstores or whatever, or at least online, then you can go grab these and really partake of the great true blue heroes that our culture desperately needs right now. So that's what's coming up with the Professor Geek channel. I will be back with more content soon, but until then, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.